It means it's time for our Wednesday weekly workshop with yours truly, Drew Detzner. We're coming to you live from 3D Wellness. We are a natural health clinic located in New Berlin, Wisconsin, where we help people heal safely and naturally. This is your first time tuning in. We are so glad you are here. Welcome. Here's the way this goes. Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, you can chat in your questions on Instagram or on YouTube. If you don't like chatting in questions, you can give us a call. Our phone number is right up here, and we'll take your call live on the air. Our goal is really simple. Now that I have more than 15 years worth of clinical experience as a nutritionist, I want to make sure I have a chance to share all of the knowledge I have with you. I want no barrier between what I know and you. So you get to ask questions. And as long as questions are rolling here, we keep answering questions. So let's jump into what we covered this week. I just realized something. It's not 95 this week. This is our 96th episode this week. Oh, man. We do believe that we have figured out what we're going to do to celebrate number 100. You're going to have to wait to hear about that, but we will. We will absolutely be celebrating our 100th live stream. This week in clinic, constipation. Everybody loves talking about poop, right? Constipation. I wanted to make sure I clarified something about that. It's when you have difficulty moving your bowels. So you can be constipated while you still have daily bowel movements. This client came in. They had tried different products that were prescriptions, different products that were natural, and they were still having trouble getting their bowels to move easily until they came in. We did their hair analysis. We looked at what was going on with the minerals inside their body, and then it became really clear what we needed to do to help them. And now they easily move their bowels every day. Very happy person right there. Urinary tract infection. This sweet young woman had tried Monistat for yeast infections, multiple antibiotic issues. We actually found that it was not something yeast related and not bacteria related, which means Monistat and antibiotics aren't going to do a whole lot for that person. But fortunately, in just a week's time, we were really able to get those symptoms calmed down by supporting this young woman's body so it could clear out what was actually causing the UTI. Also a much happier human right there. Racing heart at rest came up. This client came in. When they were active, they check in on their Apple Watch, their heart rate was in a good zone. When they were doing work, their heart rate was in a really good zone. But in the middle of the night, they would wake up and their heart was racing. They couldn't remember if they had had a nightmare. There was nothing they were aware of that was causing them to feel this way. But 2 or 3 times a night, they would wake up with that racing heart feeling. Fortunately, the heart loves to heal. The heart loves nourishment. So we started to feed her heart quite a bit. And in just 2 days, she said the rest of the week, she was able to sleep through the night. No more racing heart in the middle of the night waking her up. Racing heart is bad enough, and then I'm thinking about it waking you up from a sound sleep. No, thank you. Some clients with swollen joints, their body was retaining fluid around those joints. It's one of my clients. I swear they're usually happy. Lactic acidosis. We might want to do a little bit more of a deep dive into lactic acidosis. Now, lactic acid is a waste product that your body makes naturally. It's supposed to make it. We expect it to make it. If you've ever had like a really intense workout and you felt the burn inside your muscles, you were feeling lactic acid. Now, when there's too much lactic acid, it can start to bother your organs of elimination. Your intestines, it can bother your kidneys. This client had that going on. There are nutrients, fortunately, that can neutralize lactic acid. So if you're having trouble recovering from workouts, if you feel the burn in your muscles really quickly during workouts, reach out to us. Let us know what's going on with you, because there may be a really simple, natural way to resolve that. And then the springboard hair tissue mineral analysis. This one was really exciting. On a hair analysis, there are certain patterns that come up in the minerals that indicate it's a really good time to be aggressive with the supplement program. It's not every pattern. It's not all the time. For the most part, that's why I use hair analysis, because it keeps the supplement program in check. We don't have people on 30, 40, 50 pills a day, okay? But certain hair tissue mineral analysis patterns indicate this is the time. If you were ever going to be aggressive with a supplement program, this is when we should do it. And we had a client come in this week. Their hair analysis indicated that, and we had the conversation about what's going on in your life. Is it realistic for you to be aggressive with your supplement program right now? He said it was a good time to go, so we got really aggressive. I'm very excited about this. I'll probably give updates on this guy probably every month or so. We'll do this for the next 6 months, this really aggressive plan for the next 6 months. We'll be checking in with him during that. I'm really excited about that. If you've ever wondered more about a hair analysis, if you want more info on that, you can always reach out to us. You can keep watching our videos on here and on YouTube. We know what the springboard pattern looks like on hair analysis and when it's time to pounce and be more aggressive. That was some of the stuff we did this week in clinic. All right, I'm going to check the chats and see what kind of questions you have waiting for me. All right, all I got was some notifications that our followers are being notified that our live stream has begun. So I'm going to take a minute to get my water. I didn't even bring my water in here. Chat in some questions when you show up. I'm going to put a little note on the board. There you go. I'll be back shortly. There's our Two Boots. Here, Two Boots, why don't you take over? You just start lecturing.
We don't want to disappoint people.
Yeah, which is why you'll be in charge. Oh.
So funny. All right.
Just waiting for some questions to roll in.
Okay. Well, you know me, I'm always ready to throw one out there into the ring.
Which we appreciate.
I'm
ready for whatever you can throw at me.
Yeah, I see nothing rolling in on these guys. So let's see, which one do I want to bring up first? I would like to bring up methylene blue.
Oh, okay.
I'm still very I'm asking actually for a family member.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I think we actually did speak about this many episodes ago, but I couldn't find it exactly. So I thought I'd bring it up again.
Sure.
I know you have clinical experience with it.
Yes.
And if you go on social media, it says one thing, and we need to know the truth. So lay it on us.
Yeah, methylene blue is a fun one for me to talk about because it is one of, it's a rare thing to see an unnatural compound, which is what methylene blue is. It is unnatural, so supported by people in the natural health community. So it's a good thing to talk about.
Okay.
So we'll jump in. All right. All right, couple things you need to know about methylene blue. It will stain things blue.
Hmm.
You can search this if you would like to, but recently there have been photographs of cadavers that were using methylene blue, and organs inside of their body, like their brain and their liver, were stained blue. Okay? So when we talk about how potent this compound is in terms of its staining ability, it stains things blue, including organs inside your body. Okay? For the most part, brains usually aren't blue.
Correct.
Just so we're being totally clear, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing you should know, the action is undetermined. So when we talk about methylene blue, you will hear people say things like, it supports the way your body uses oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you more efficient with oxygen. It's an incredibly potent antioxidant. You'll hear these reports. I believe these reports are validated. However, they can't tell you why it helps with oxygen or it's such a potent antioxidant. Okay? That concerns me. And potent. It is incredibly potent. I have had 2 different clients, completely unrelated to one another, use methylene blue prior to working with me, and it is the reason that they were sent to me because it disrupted their body so greatly. Really severe increases in their symptoms. One gentleman, Jake, had brain fog, had fatigue, and it basically put him in bed. He couldn't think straight. His fatigue was incredibly worse. No good. Another client was using it and was told it would help with oxygen, with athletic performance, and their athletic performance decreased while they were using that supplement. And even after they were using methylene blue, their athletic performance did not self-correct. So, I want people to keep in mind it is incredibly potent because both of these people were fit, reasonably healthy people, and both of them got absolutely crashed out by methylene blue. Okay? So, in my experience, something that unnaturally stains your organs blue and the action is unknown and it's very potent is not something I'm going to recommend to you. It's not something I'm going to recommend to you. Okay? But what I would like to do is take this opportunity to talk to you about some really simple nutrients that can help with the things methylene blue is reported to help with. That sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, this is considered a medication, isn't it? To some degree.
It's technically considered an industrial dye.
Whoa.
So with stuff like this, I'm always trying to figure out who was the first person who saw a dark blue dye used for things like denim and thought, bet if I eat that, I'll feel good. You know what I mean?
Well, it always concerns me when something is classified as medication or whatever. There's always seems to be some side effects that it's a trade-off. So this is why we do what we do, to provide natural resources to accomplish
That
goals.
might, to your point, that might be a really good thing to talk about tonight. The difference between some pharmaceuticals and the natural things that the pharmaceutical is based off of, and talk about why they are so different.
Okay.
But first, Methylene blue, they talk about oxygen metabolism and being more efficient with oxygen. Really easy way to do that. I think we spoke about it last week or the week before. It's a supplement called Cataplex E2. Incredible for supporting the way your blood carries around oxygen. You would also want to look at making sure that you daily get zinc, copper, and iron, because all of those things are also involved in oxygen metabolism. Fortunately, Standard Process has another supplement called Zinc Complex, and it provides you all three of those. So if you're saying, I wanted to use methylene blue because I wanted to support the way my blood carries and uses oxygen, fantastic. We don't have to use methylene blue to do that. You can take Cataplex E2 and Zinc Complex and support your body's use of oxygen and its efficiency with oxygen. Mm-hmm. Then we can talk about antioxidants. Now this word is actually kind of like a grind my gears kind of thing, because there are so many things that are antioxidants. And it just depends on what level of the body we're talking about. Are we talking about an organ or an organ system? Are we talking about cells, tissues? Okay. So many things can be classified as an antioxidant. I have a couple of favorites though. I'll throw those out at you. First is a product that's called Vitanox. This is an herbal blend. One of the herbs in there is turmeric. I know all of you watching this, I'm very confident, know turmeric. Turmeric is one of the herbs that's in here, but the idea is that it's a whole food product that helps provide antioxidants. Okay. One of my all-time favorites. Then the all-time favorite, Spanish black radish. Spanish black radish contains antioxidants. It is a whole food source. There's no chemical, there's no manipulation of the nutrients within it. It naturally has things that help prevent unwanted breakdown inside of the body. So if you're saying to yourself, methylene blue has all these incredible benefits and I want all of them, I get that. And I want you to have those things. But I want you to have those things from a safe source, okay? Cataplex E2, most people take between 3 and 6 a day. Zinc Complex, most people are going to take just 1 or 2 a day. Vitanox, most people it's 2 a day. Spanish black, it's 2 a day. Recently, RFK Jr. was seen adding a blue liquid to a beverage that he was drinking. People think it's methylene blue. I didn't get the chance to ask him. We don't do coffee till next week. Sorry, Klein cracked a joke about that Bill earlier today. He was like, so Drew, you agree with RFK Jr.? And I said, well, what I appreciate about RFK Jr. is that he's bringing up topics that I've been talking about for 15 years that were not mainstream. And because he has brought them up, they have become mainstream. Yes. And Bill replied with, so how long is it going to be before there's a press conference and RFK Jr. is up there and he goes, all right, next I'm going to bring up a guy who knows a lot about this good stuff. His name's Drew Detzner. Ooh. Probably not going to happen. Nobody get your hopes up. Okay. But these whole food supplements will accomplish what methylene blue does without any unwanted parts.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. All right, the questions roll in the chat.
I do not see any questions rolling in yet.
Okay.
Hey, Schmitty.
Hey, Schmitty.
Ready for my next one?
Fire away.
I want to talk about parasites.
Ooh.
Because they're everywhere.
Little bugs.
Yes, and I got some specific questions. 2 questions, actually. Yeah. One is, does having like a clean, healthy, well-nourished body deter parasites from using us as a host to some degree? And then the second question is, once we're onto those little buggers,
Mhm.
we've discovered them. What are the steps in getting them gone? Because I've learned when working with you that it's not enough just to kill them. We need to flush them out.
Mhm.
Could you talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that, please?
absolutely. It's a really good topic.
And why isn't the body able to do it itself?
Oh, but the body is
Yeah.
when it's properly nourished.
Ah. Okay. I'll
Nice.
let you.
Nice point. I appreciate your point. All right, and then Lori, would you put down a note? We got to make sure that we tag Dr. Bart Precourt in this afterwards. I saw Dr. Bart present last Friday, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. He and I shared a couple of moments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Like we were like clicking, we were like getting it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the protocols that he outlined are ones that I've used. I really, really like them. And he has this fantastic parasite test that I'm going to have you do right now. It's really easy to do. It's great. So I want to make sure we tag him.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So parasites. All right. So is deter DETER?
DETER. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to deter them, there's a couple of things you want to do. You want to chew your food. Because for the most part, these parasites come in via something we are eating. So you really want to take small bites of your food. You want to chew your food thoroughly. Okay. That gnashing, mashing, crunching motion is going to help destroy a lot of would-be invaders of your body. So that's step one. Chew your food really, really well. Okay. Second thing we want really strong stomach acid. When stomach acid is healthy, it's usually in a pH range that's like 1 to 2. It's like really, really acidic. And that's good because if our teeth don't totally obliterate the parasites, when they fall into our stomach acid next, that'll take care of business. It's a really good thing. And that will help deter the parasites.
Okay.
The majority of parasites we get come from the food we eat. And just chewing your food really well and having really potent stomach acid will help deter them. What hangs us up is that stress weakens our stomach acid. So for your stomach acid to be potent, we want to avoid stress, which is impossible all the time. I get it. So what we're going to do is avoid it around mealtime. When the food's preparing, we're going to focus on our good breathing. Even that just feels good, just the one breath. We're going to rest after we eat. We're going to rest and digest, okay? When we rest and digest after the meal, even if our stomach acid wasn't in that sweet spot, that very acidic spot going into the meal, it gives our body an opportunity to correct that before the food is leaving our stomach. And that would kill any would-be parasitic invaders. Okay? Something I personally like to practice is my breathing techniques whenever I'm preparing a meal, because then I'm doing two birds with one stone. I also find it's much easier to put love into the meal when I'm doing good breath work when I'm preparing the meal. And then I like to rest and digest afterwards. Some of my clients have heard me say this, that at dinner time, one of my favorite things to do is to get out my acoustic guitar. And then when I'm resting and digesting, or when other people are finishing the meal, or when we're just sitting, just to play some music. It's really good for you on a lot of levels, including deterring parasites. Okay. Our body has things in place to help us deter parasites, but we have to act on them and we have to support them. And we can do that nutritionally, aside from just doing things like resting and digesting and breath work. If you want that really potent stomach acid, my go-to is Zypan by Standard Process. This is totally wonderful for that stomach acid thing. A little goes a long way, and a lot of it doesn't hurt you. Right now, in my supplement program, one of the first things I put in my body every morning is Zypan. If you don't want to take Zypan for some reason, first of all, reach out to me and let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Second, you can use apple cider vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that supports the healthy acidification in your stomach. Again, we want acid in our stomach. It is designed to be there, and it is intended to be incredibly potent. So some apple cider vinegar in the morning is good also. I really dislike the taste of apple cider vinegar. It has got to be hidden when it's in a salad dressing behind oil and seasonings, or I just don't go for it. That's my thing. That's why I take Zypan. So that's how we would deter parasites.
Okay.
We chew them up and then drop them in a vat of acid. That'll help.
All right.
If
Good
nothing
start.
else.
Good start.
Yeah.
But we know how resilient those little buggers are.
Yeah. So there's ways we can attack them.
Yeah.
All right, so the second part of your question was how do we go after them?
Yeah.
Okay.
How to go after the dead ones too.
Sure.
Get rid of the carcasses.
Carcass. That's not a word you get to casually bring up in conversation. How was your vacation? I really hope you don't use the word carcass, right?
Right.
Oh, you went to the grocer. How was the grocer? Don't say it. All right, so eliminate them. All right, so there are all sorts of herbs that have natural compounds that are anti-parasitic. Separate from that, there are other herbs that really move and shake the intestines. And that is also really good for helping fight parasites. So I want you to think about this. It's not that all parasites are only staying in your intestines, but we want to keep your intestines free and clear of parasites, so it's easier to remove parasites from any part of the body. So we can take herbs that naturally help attack parasites, and that's a great idea. In addition to that, we also want to take herbs that get the intestine walls flexing and moving and shaking things up, so that if those parasites are holding on for dear life and you start shaking things up, they start to lose their hold, and it's easier to attack them and destroy them that way. Some of my favorite products to do this, first one is going to be Wormwood Complex by MediHerb, which is the Standard Process Herbal Affiliate. This one you do 10 days on, 10 days off.
And that has to do with what, the egg cycle?
Yeah, the life cycle of how most of these nasty little buggers exist in us. So we want to catch them at different phases of their life cycle and their maturity.
Okay.
What's nice about Wormwood Complex and why I use a lot of it is because it has ingredients in there for young parasites and mature parasites. So we're really hitting this broad spectrum of parasite issue. Okay. Really like Wormwood Complex for doing that. I use a lot of Zypan to support the stomach acid. Even after the fact, I really want that acidic pH up in here. It helps engage other aspects of healthy digestion, which has an anti-parasitic activity to it. So I'm going to use some Zypan. I'm going to use some Zymex too. Now, I mean Zymex number 2, not Zymex also, not Zymex 2 as in also. I mean Zymex number 2. And this one is all the time. So where the Wormwood Complex, we're going to do 10 days on, 10 days off, and just flip-flop that. And you can do that pretty much indefinitely. Most people only need about 3 or 4 cycles of that. It's something that I tell people to do like 1 month a year, just every year. It's like every January, clean out some parasites. I personally like to do it in May. Whenever works for you, though. Zymex 2, we don't have to rotate, neither do we have to do that with Zypan all the time. Okay. And then this is one spot where people really futz it up. and it's what you were getting to with your question, I think,
Okay.
Lori, is that we can support the body in attacking parasites. We can use these herbs that naturally kill them and that move and shake the intestines, but we also want to make sure we're doing things to ensure that the parasites leave our body.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a really good way to do that.
Yeah.
It's called Spanish black radish.
Oh.
Right? Spanish black radish is incredible drainage or irritant / toxin removal for the intestines. One of the things Dr. Bart said about Spanish black radish, he's also a big fan of Spanish black radish. If you're on Instagram, just look for Dr. Bart, B-A-R-T, pre-quart. He said it's like a rake for the intestines. So when you use a rake on your lawn, you can pick up leaves, but it doesn't rip out all the grass, and it doesn't rip out the soil, and it doesn't barely change the appearance. It just removes something from you. So think of Spanish black radish as removing that stuff. So after we attack these parasites, we're going to want to make sure that we do something to remove them, because what happens for a lot of people is they attack the parasites, they even kill a lot of them, and then that dead material sits, and that creates a new set of problems in the body. When we take Spanish black radish, that dead material does not sit, and then we don't have that new problem. So a really effective anti-parasite protocol is to take wormwood complex with Zypan, Zymex-2, and Spanish black radish. You can do this alongside your other supplement program. I recommend people do it 1 time a year. Do it for a month. 10 days on, 10 days off, 10 days on, and you're done. Really effective.
Okay.
Yeah. Even additional?
I thought you mentioned something that the body can get rid of this stuff on its own?
Yeah, if we support it the right way. The nutrients that naturally exist in some of these herbs, the Spanish black radish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the body just flush it out itself? Why does it need a Spanish black radish in this case?
I think I understand your question. Chances are, if parasites were able to get a foothold in a body, that body is malnourished, and the mechanisms that would naturally remove the parasites aren't functional.
Okay.
So that's why we want to use things like Spanish black radish to nourish up those mechanisms so the body can do its own thing.
Okay.
Spanish black radish doesn't physically move parasites out of the body. Spanish black radish gives you the nutrients that support your body in removing those things.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes people say, well, can't I just take 12 Spanish black radish to flush them out? Maybe, probably not though. What would be better is be diligent and consistent with your Spanish black radish so you build up your intestines' ability to move out harmful things like parasites.
Do they actually attach little claws and stuff to your linings?
If you ever want to lose some sleep, just Google parasite microscopic images.
Okay. Where
they take pictures of parasites with a microscope, and it is the stuff of horror movies. Yeah. Super gross.
Where does a binder come into play in this? Oftentimes you hear about needing a binder to grasp.
Yeah.
Carry some of this.
I like binders. We use a lot of binders here.
Yeah.
GI Adsorb by Standard Process is a really great binder. We use the binders that are from Cellcore also. What binders do is they make something incapable of hurting you until it is removed. So a binder may lock up a dead parasite material, but it doesn't necessarily move it through your intestines.
Oh, okay.
It just locks it up so it can't interfere with the performance of your intestines anymore.
Okay.
When we use something like GI Adsorb with clients that have, let's say, aluminum toxicity on their hair analysis, we are locking up some aluminum so that it doesn't move from their intestines to their kidneys and start to cause problems at the kidneys. Or so it doesn't move from the kidneys into the brain or something like that.
Okay.
A binder doesn't necessarily remove it from the body. Just makes it so it can't hurt the body in the meanwhile.
So there isn't a binder in this protocol that is laid out on the board at all, right?
Correct.
And one isn't needed because of what the Spanish black radish can do, or?
Correct.
Okay.
For parasites, we don't necessarily need a binder.
Okay.
Binders are much more common with the man-made stuff. the metal toxicities and the chemical
Oh,
toxicities.
like aluminum and stuff like that. Okay.
We can use them for different biological challenges like bacteria, virus, parasites, and fungus. There are binders that are designed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes up less often in my experience compared to the man-made stuff.
Got it.
Like today we gave a client carboxy by Cellcore, and that is a binder.
Okay, yeah.
And it's really good for all things mold. The client requested that because in the past I'd put that client on that, and they raved about how good their lower abdomen felt.
Okay.
I have no argument with that.
Right.
It's safe to use long term. They feel better on it. Let's go.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Great question.
Wow.
All right, the parasite test.
Oh, yes.
You want to know if you have parasites. If you have a watch on your left wrist like I do, take it off. Take 2 fingers with your right hand. Find your pulse on your left wrist. Feel your heartbeat? I'm thinking about Spanish black radish, so mine's a little elevated. Just joking. Feel your pulse, 2 boots?
No, I must be dead. I don't.
I'm sure you aren't. Try rolling your thumb so it's like more vertical. Now, do you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
you feel your pulse?
Yeah.
If you can feel your pulse, you have parasites. That was from Dr. Bart. Dr. Bart got us good. There were like 40 or 50 of us in that room.
Can't believe it.
And he does that, and I'm like, oh, this will be an amazing new thing I can do with clients. And he does that, and then he gets this Cheshire cat grin on his face. I was like, I really like this guy. I really like this guy, brother from another mother kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was good.
I saw him last Friday. I've done that 7 or 8 times in the office since that talk. Yeah, been enjoying it.
All right. Well, Schmitty has a question.
Oh, good.
What's the difference between phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification?
Ooh, okay, let's go. All right, I hung the green marker upside down in preparation for this. Oh, that is
wow,
like
it came
forest
to
green.
life. Hallelujah.
Like that. Oh, we're already losing it. Stay with me, Greenie. Okay, while I talk, I'm gonna hold it like this to see if gravity will continue to help us. So phase 1 tends to be more recent things that have come into the body, more of the day-to-day kind of stuff. Today when I went outside, because it's America in 2025, I breathed in car exhaust. There's no way around it. Can't get away from it. It is an inevitability in our modern world in America. Okay? My phase 1 liver detox, when the blood that was passing through my lungs picked up the air that I breathed in it, it eventually went through my liver, and my phase 1 detox mechanisms kicked in right away and said, car exhaust has no place in Drew's body. Let's remove that real quick. Okay. Phase 2 is more of the deeper seated stuff. Okay. If your body is overwhelmed in phase 1, if too much car exhaust comes in at one time, some amount of that car exhaust is going to get stored inside of your body. Okay. Then it will be up to the phase 2 detox mechanisms to clean that stuff out. So we want both to work because when phase 2 is kicking in, it's like really deep-seated stuff. It's stuff that can really mess with our health. Ideally, every day, especially overnight, both phase 1 and phase 2 kick in together and clean up a bunch of stuff. Was that the phone? Outstanding. Maybe it's a question. Maybe it's somebody who wants a supplement that supports phase 1 and phase 2 liver detox. Who knows? So phase 1 tends to be more surface, more recent. Phase 2 tends to be the deeper stuff. Now there's a separate thing where phase 1 actually leads into phase 2, where phase 1 detox may start the breakdown of a toxin, which allows phase 2 to finish the work. So some toxins require a two-step process to get removed from the body. So in this scenario, or in that scenario, excuse me, we're going to see phase 1 starts the work and then phase 2 finishes the work. Schmitty, let me know if that answered your question. And just so everybody's clear, that is the same Schmitty that gifted me this photograph that I absolutely love. Excellent, Ryan. Okay, cool. Very good. All right, Josiah's here. Have I ever heard of pectosol as a binder? Yes. And what is mucoid plaque? Oh, that's a fun one. Let's jump into it. Oh, that green hung upside down trying to stain my board. All right. Geez, what colors have I already... Haven't used orange yet. Oh, that's perfect for citrus. So, Josiah, your first question, my man. Citrus pectin. It's a couple of different companies that make different citrus pectin products. The idea being that pectin is used as a binder. So just to reiterate it, especially if you're just joining us, binders don't necessarily remove something from our body, but what they do a good job of is making that something inert or incapable of hurting us until it is removed. Citrus pectin is a pretty good binder. For the most part, binders affect different size toxins in the body. Okay. Different toxicities will respond better to different binders. They correlate size-wise. Okay. What I clinically think citrus pectin does a really good job of binding to are different immune challenges. I know there are clinicians that use citrus pectin products for other toxicities. I feel that those aren't nearly as effective. I like them for immune challenges. They do really well with bacteria. So quite a few people historically have used citrus pectin products when they're dealing with Lyme disease. And this is just my public service announcement. Tell your friends this part. Please help me tell people this. It is Lyme disease. It is not Lyme's disease. Okay? Two things. Little green fruits don't have a disease named after them. Okay? Second, a guy named Daniel Lyme did not discover this disease. Okay? So it's not Lyme's disease, and it's not Lyme's disease. It's Lyme. Please tell all your friends. Public service announcement. I'll get off my soapbox now. So citrus pectin, pretty good binder. It is size dependent. When it comes to immune challenges, my favorite binder is going to be biotoxin binder by Cellcore. Just because it is a little bit more diverse in terms of what kind of immune challenges it can help bind up. But we were just talking about parasites, and I was just talking about how I don't feel the need for a lot of binding with different immune challenges. I just want to keep that system flowing with Spanish black radish. Yeah. All right, he had a second part to his question on Instagram.
Yeah. And what is mucoid plaque?
Yes, mucoid plaque. All right, on previous live streams, I have spoken about mucus. Have I used every color already tonight?
It's possible.
Excuse me for just a moment. Okay, back to work. I really want to spell this right. I think this is how you spell it. All right, mucoid plaque. So, various parts of our body should have mucus in them. All right, and that is a good thing. Smiley face. Smiley face means good thing. If this mucus gets too thick, or if it is too stagnant, meaning it's not moving and not flowing, often because it is too thick, but not exclusively, too thick or too stagnant, it will start to plaque. It will start to harden. It will accumulate. And that is no good. So for example, our sinuses are supposed to have a certain amount of mucus in them. So let's say that this black line is the sinus wall. All right, so inside of your face, up your nose, the walls of those sinus cavities, okay? What our body has quite brilliantly done is it has determined that layering mucus on top of that allows for a couple of really important things to happen. One, a lot of irritants don't ever actually get to the wall, to the skin inside of our sinuses, so it's a protective measure. That's a really good thing. The body will slough off layers, so these layers are in a constant state of moving upward, and that top layer eventually just goes away. What's nice about that is we may have little nasty buggers, different types of viruses, different bacteria, different mold particles, different chemicals, different metals, okay? And when that top layer of mucus sloughs off, we expel all that stuff with it. It's part of the reason it is so good when you have a stuffy nose to blow your nose. You're not just avoiding sounding like this. What you're also doing is potentially removing things that would disrupt your health. Unfortunately, in our modern world, due to dehydration, due to foods that have had nutrients stripped away from them, often the sloughing off action of these layers of mucus happens too slowly, which contributes to them hardening. This example is the sinus wall, but this can also happen inside of the intestines. Can happen on an intestinal wall inside of the intestines as well. We were just talking about parasites. One of the things I said that would help with parasites would be if we can get the intestines really moving and shaking. We can disrupt things so those parasites that we're holding on for dear life start to get shook out of there. Okay, we want that to happen all the time because that's one of the things that helps us shift those layers of mucus and slough off the top level. When that doesn't happen and the mucus hardens, it forms a plaque basically. That interferes with the way that nutrients get delivered through these walls, especially in the intestines, but also in the sinuses. Nutrients, including things like oxygen in that case. Mm-hmm. They have a harder time getting through, and the performance of these areas is decreased. Our sinuses have certain cells in them that actually read the air and what the air is made out of. And when we breathe in the air through our nose, our sinuses send a message to our brain that says the air contains all of these things. And then when we breathe out through our nose, the sinuses send another message to the brain that says we took in ABC. When we breathed out, there was only B and C. So our body is obviously looking for A and not B and C. And then our brain has the opportunity to change what the body is doing to accommodate those needs. It's pretty incredible stuff. Your nose is telling your brain what your whole body needs, and then your brain responds accordingly. Incredible. I thought it was just for smelling my fettuccine Alfredo. I was wrong. Okay. The mucoid plaque is this mucus getting too hard. It interferes with the way nutrients come in. It interferes with organ performance. When you nourish up the gut, when you get it moving and shaking, you can get rid of mucoid plaque. A lot of pictures that you see on social media of people who do a parasite cleanse or a gut cleanse, and they say, I pooped out a worm. They say, I pooped out a colony of worms. They most likely actually pooped out some mucoid plaque, an overly, inappropriately thick collection of mucus that finally got shook out of them, allowing for better nutrients to get delivered to actual body tissues. Josiah, I hope that answered your question. Let me know if it did.
Got some thumbs up.
Groovy.
Yeah.
Super groovy. Other questions that are rolling in? No? Anything on YouTube?
Pretty quiet over there.
Give you folks a few more minutes to ask some questions, but then we'll call it a night. What time is it even? Weston has a clock.
Oh, just about 8 o'clock.
Wow.
5 to 8, yep.
Look at us go.
Woo.
Cool. That's an exciting thing. I'll just, not trying to be boastful here, but here at 3D Wellness, we have a bunch of separate offices, separate rooms here, and we officially have the second consult room set up for the sake of efficiency, because after operating here exclusively for 9 months, our schedule was full enough and we were serving enough of our community to warrant having a second room set up to keep everything rolling smoothly. And it has been wonderful to have that. To set up that room, part of what I've had to do is order a lot of my favorite books. So when they arrive, which probably won't be for another 7 to 10 days, so we might miss next week. So maybe at number 97, certainly by number 98. I'm going to go over a lot of my favorite books that I keep around here to reference for people. Things that talk about breathing, sleeping, food, and technology and how it influences us. Some very good books. Any questions, Roland?
There is one that rolled in.
Cool.
Josiah, the topic is enemas.
Yes.
And he wants to know, how important are they?
All right, I'll talk
about... Use brown.
Use brown. Seems appropriate. What else did I use brown for tonight? I felt like it was appropriate for that too. Okay. Enemas. All right, a tube in your backside. Here we go. Lots of different kinds. Lots of different types, okay? The desired outcome helps us determine what kind of enema a person should do. In the world of health, the most common enema by far is a coffee enema, okay? So if we're going to do a coffee enema, we are going to use a light roasted coffee. In school, there were so many jokes about baristas and ordering a cup of joe, and do you like the light roast or the dark roast? And be like, well, this one's going on my backside, so the light roast, but I like a second cup of the dark roast because I like the flavor. Woo. All right. Coffee. We always want to use light roasted. It keeps the antioxidants more intact.
Is that even true for drinking? Like,
a little bit different, because your stomach acid hits a lot of those antioxidants that are in coffee.
Okay.
When we are orally ingesting coffee, our stomach acid deteriorates and degrades a lot of the antioxidants that are in it.
Mm.
It's part of the reason it's not as amazing as it's often made out to be. A lot of coffee manufacturers talk about the antioxidants. They are physically present in the coffee,
Yeah.
but when they hit our stomach acid, they get degraded.
So that's why it's you want something not light roasted. You want it.
Any coffee. Any coffee, when it hits our stomach acid, the antioxidants in it get degraded.
Okay.
Light roast, dark roast, mid roast, whatever.
Mm.
When we're doing an enema, though, that is not oral ingestion, that is rectal ingestion, we want to use light roasted. I'm just going to say this because I feel like my soul needs to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Cool off the coffee. Make sure it is not hot. Please.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It is incredible for your liver. It really supports bile flow out of the liver, supports detox inside of the liver, in the gut, shakes things up. That can also be a really good thing. All sorts of toxins dislike it when you have good bile flow and you shake things up in the gut. On a hair tissue mineral analysis, when I see really high levels of mercury, we're going to use red because we all saw thermometers, unless you were born after 2005 or 6 or whenever they changed that. When mercury levels are high on a hair tissue mineral analysis, that is when I talk to a client about coffee enemas on a regular basis. I don't use a lot of coffee enemas, full disclosure. Really high mercury toxicity doesn't happen very often with me. Okay. And the other thing is, when you start coffee enemas, you have to be prepared to continue them for an entire year.
What?
This is a really big deal. We want to do at least 5 a week for a year straight. If you go on vacation, you bring your coffee enema kit with you.
Oh.
If you're having a sleepover with a buddy, you bring your coffee enema kit with you. You are dedicated to that process for an entire year, because without a doubt, you will shake up things in your body with coffee enemas that you have to see through all the way to the end. I went to school with a woman who was an incredible massage therapist. She started coffee enemas. She stopped after a month because she thought she was all better. And the rash that formed on both of her hands stopped her from being able to do her work as a massage therapist. She resumed the coffee enemas. 2 days into resuming coffee enemas, the rash was 90% gone and she could get back into work. And I always think of her whenever I talk about coffee enemas. If you start them, you're in it for at least a year without fail. It can't be, I slept past my alarm. Doesn't matter. You're doing your coffee enema in the morning, you slept through your alarm, guess what? You're doing it in the afternoon. Well, I was traveling, guess what? It's going in your suitcase. Well, I was with my friends, guess what? You tell me you need privacy in the bathroom.
So you're not talking about this being a year-long, just in general, just with the high mercury? Or
anybody who starts coffee enemas.
Really?
Because it will shake things up.
Oh, so just doing it once in a while doesn't do anything?
Oh, it does plenty.
Yeah.
My concern is it will shake up, it'll kick up more dust than it cleans up.
Oh.
If I have a dusty floor in my house,
yeah,
and I gently sweep it into the dustpan, like Spanish black radish does in the body, no big deal. Coffee enemas are like sweeping up dust in your house like that. You're going to kick up some dust,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
So you have to be willing to say like, hey, I was really aggressive with my cleanup. Now I have to do additional cleanup because of the dust I kicked up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
Always let it cool down. Always use light roasted. It is really good for you, but you're in it for a year minimum once you start it. At least
That's
5 times a week.
Commitment.
Serious commitment.
Gee.
If you have 2 bathrooms in your house, the few clients that I've worked with on this, they all had kids that were grown and out of the house, fortunately. The second bathroom that was rarely used became the enema bathroom.
Okay.
So they would put down 2 bath towels in the tub so they had a cushy spot to lay. They'd hang their coffee bucket on the shower faucet. You know what I'm talking about?
I sure do.
They put their feet up on the edge of the tub. They'd sit back and just relax. You take in the coffee. You hold it as long as you can. It's usually 5 to 10 minutes. If you're really good at it and really practiced, you can make it 20. And then you sit down on the toilet and all sorts of chaos falls out of your bottom.
Suzer has a question now.
Sure.
What about colonics?
Colonics.
We're on the topic.
Very different.
Yeah.
Colonics are really good for cleaning the intestines. They don't do all of the liver bile related stuff. So colonics are a gentler version of coffee enemas that you can do here and there, so to speak. And still get a lot of benefit cleaning the gut. It doesn't take the same level of commitment as the coffee enemas do. Yeah, good question.
Okay.
Did other questions roll in?
No.
We'll give you folks a few more minutes to ask some, but it's almost my bedtime.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a good live stream.
I think this is one of our longest ones.
Yeah. When we have guests, they usually go for like an hour and a half. Like when Dr. Moira or Dr. Drew are here, they usually go for like an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
Must have been on a coffee break or something. I don't remember that.
Or you were just so captivated by the material presented.
Oh, there you go.
Time became irrelevant.
Yes. Yes, I like that answer better.
All right, you wonderful humans. Sincerely, when I say this, I want you to know how much I mean it, and I speak on behalf of Lori as well. Your participation in this means the world to us. From the day we started this venture, we have had people engaging us. They have asked us questions. They have watched our videos. They have come in for consults. They've come to our open house. They have come here just to be here. And we sincerely and gratefully appreciate that. So thank you so much for all these questions. Helps keep us sharp. It helps us teach others. Talking about coffee enemas and enemas, I guarantee Josiah is not the only human who had questions about enemas, and now somebody else can hear this. They weren't willing to ask the question. Josiah was willing to ask it. Totally love it.
Yes.
Okay. We'll see you next Wednesday. Episode 97 of Ask Drew Anything. You stay well. Bye for now.